This is 4.4a part 2. So now that we have compared our slopes, now this next table wants us to fill in slopes. So here we have line L1 has a slope of M1, line L2 has a slope of M2, and line L3 has a slope of M3. So slopes 1 and 2 are parallel. So these ones are parallel. And slopes 1 and 3 are perpendicular. Well, if 1 and 3 are perpendicular, it means that 2 and 3 are also perpendicular because those two are parallel to each other. So these are perpendicular. Okay. So now, anytime we have parallel slopes, we're just going to focus on this for now. That means that the one that's parallel has an identical slope. So if this is 2 over 5, that means that one's 2 over 5. If this is negative 4 over 3, this one's going to be negative 4 over 3. That one's going to be 0. I'm just going to write undef for this. Okay, so we can fill in for the first 2 lines what we know so far. Then, going to down here, so now these are perpendicular. So what we need to do is we need to flip the fraction and change the sign. So this is going to become 5 over 2, and we're going to make it negative. This one's going to become 3 over 4. Because it was negative, it's now going to be positive. This one's going to be 7. It's 7 over 1, but that's a whole number, so we're just going to write 7, and we make it negative. And then, because this is parallel on top, we can also make that negative. The perpendicular of 0 is undefined. And same here. And then this is parallel, so you just write the exact same thing. Here we're going to go to 0, 0, 0. Okay, so you're going to fill in that table. Next, determine whether the line passing through the first pair of points, so this is our first pair of points, is parallel, perpendicular, or neither to the line passing through our second pair of points. So what we have to do here is we have to use this first set of points. We're going to calculate our slope, and then we're going to compare that slope to the slope we calculate with our second pair of points. So we're basically doing 2 mini equations. This is going to be x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we're going to do the same thing again. x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay. So for both cases, we're using our slope formula. y2 minus y1 is equal to, or over x2 minus x1. So that's our formula. So I don't have to write the formula a bunch of times. So here I have 3 minus 5 over 11 minus 6. So 3 minus 5 over 11 minus 6. And that gives us, when we do that, negative 2 over 5. So that's what I have on this side. Here I have negative 2 minus 1 over 3 minus negative 2. So negative 2 minus 1 over 3 minus negative 2. Remember, when we have a double negative, it becomes positive. This becomes 3 plus 2. So we get negative 3 over 5. So now we're going to compare our slopes. Negative 2 over 5 compared to negative 3 over 5. So these aren't identical, and they're not negative reciprocals. So this one's neither. We'll do another example. So we'll start off labeling x1, y1, x2, y2, x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, I'm going to be using the same formula, so I don't need to write it again. So now I have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I get 1 minus negative 6 over 3 minus negative 3, which gives me 1 plus 6 over 3 plus 3, which gives me 7 over 6. Okay, so that's on this side. Then on the other side, I have negative 8 minus minus 2, 7 minus 0. So I get negative 8 minus minus 2 over 7 minus 0. That gives me negative 8 plus 2 over 7, which gives me negative 6 over 7. So now I'm going to compare these slopes. I have 7 over 6 on this side, and then I have minus 6 over 7. So if I look at these two, 7 over 6, and this one is flipped, 6 over 7. This is positive, and this one's negative. So from here to here is flipped with the sign changed. So that means that it is perpendicular. That's my final answer. Okay. It's important that you show the two slopes for these questions as well as write your final answer. Okay. So now you can go to page 181 and do number 2. Number 2 is just like this. You do it the exact same way. And then you're going to do number 3, A to F. It's on the next page, I think, so 182. And it's similar to this. Okay, and that's the end of 4.4a.